Oh, there it is. Tonight, it's Donald Trump versus Dick Durbin on who is telling the truth. Now, most Americans don't really have to hear more than that to decide who is telling the truth. Even though most Americans don't know who Dick Durbin is, 63% of Americans say Donald Trump does not tell the truth. That poll came out on Thursday, the day Senator Dick Durbin, who was the only Democrat in a meeting in the White House with the president, revealed that the president referred to Haiti and all 54 countries of Africa as shithole countries in that meeting. That immediately became the biggest news story in America, and the president did not deny saying those words. He had all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday to deny saying those words, and the president did not deny it. The White House did not deny it. They did not put out a statement saying that the president did not say those words. None of the Republicans in the room denied that the president said those words. And so on Thursday night, that was, in effect, confirmation that the president said those words. In fact, reporting quickly emerged on Friday indicating that the president made the kind of nighttime phone calls to billionaire friends from the White House that Michael Wolff describes in his new book. And the president in those calls boasted about saying those words and how those words would improve his position with his base on immigration because he said those hateful words. And as the story clearly got worse and worse for the Trump White House on Friday and Saturday, the Trump White House decided it was time to change their story, just completely change their story. It was time to change Donald Trump's story and enlist whatever help they could from other Republicans. And now Donald Trump is saying that Dick Durbin misrepresented what he said in the Oval Office. Two Republican senators who were in the room have decided to change their stories dramatically. Republican Senators Tom Cotton and David Perdue on Friday released a very unusual joint statement about that White House meeting. Very unusual for two senators to release a joint statement together. It said, "We do not recall the president saying these comments specifically." Do not recall on the biggest thing that the president has ever said in their presence, according to the way the news media is reacting to it, and they do not recall. They very specifically did not then deny that the president said that. They simply claimed to not recall. Now, I have been in work sessions like that in the Oval Office when I was working in the Senate during the Clinton administration. Let me tell you, you come out of that room remembering every word the president says, every word. So just based on my own personal experience in the Oval Office, I did not believe a word of Senator Cotton and Senator Perdue's statement about not recalling. And it turns out now, according to them, they were not telling the truth. They now say they lied to you. Senator Cotton and Senator Perdue now claim that they do recall what was said.
You're saying it did not happen, or you just don't recall?
I didn't hear it, and I was sitting no further away from Donald Trump than Dick Durbin was.
The gross misrepresentation was that language was used in there that was not used, and also that the tone of that meeting was not contributory and not constructive.
So there you have Tom Cotton and David Perdue calling Tom Cotton and David Perdue liars for their first statement. Now want to be believed for their second statement. Senator Durbin is not changing his story.
I know what happened. I stand behind every word that I said. I stick with my original interpretation. I am stunned that this is their defense. That's their choice. What the president said in that meeting was so awful and so impactful on so many people that when he denied saying it, I felt duty-bound to clarify what actually happened.
Senator Durbin has described Republican Senator Lindsey Graham as very forcefully arguing with the president about the president's description of those countries. On Friday, South Carolina newspaper reported that Tim Scott, South Carolina's junior senator, confirmed that the state's senior senator, Lindsey Graham, told him what Dick Durbin said about the president was basically accurate. Today, Lindsey Graham told South Carolina's Post and Courier, quote, "My memory hasn't evolved. I know what was said, and I know what I said." Here is the president last night denying that he said what Dick Durbin and Lindsey Graham now say he said.
Did you see what various senators in the room said about my comments? They were amazed. Oh, what do you think? I like people who think I'm racist. No, I'm not a racist. I am the least racist person you have ever interviewed. That I can tell you.
That I can tell you. With the nod. That I can tell you. That is one of Donald Trump's many tells. Whenever he says that I can tell you, he is lying. Believe me is another one of his tells. Whenever he says, believe me, you know he's lying. When he's lying, he always reaches for that little something extra. And the crazier the lie, the more he needs one of those believe or that I can tell yous. And so the most overtly racist president since the abolition of slavery says, I am the least racist person. Because he is an out-of-control pathological liar, he could never be content with the sentence, no, I am not a racist. That's what he first said, no, I am not a racist. And the reason he is not content with that sentence is because it does not sound believable, even to him. And so the twisted mind of the used car salesman, real estate salesman, casino operator, hustler is always desperately trying to lay something on top of a simple statement of fact that simply does not sound believable. Like Donald Trump saying, no, I am not a racist. And it is because Donald Trump knows that that does not sound believable, that he goes to the utterly insane length of adding the utterly insane statement, I am the least racist person. And because he is and has been for decades a deeply dysfunctional, pathological liar, he has no idea that saying, I am the least racist person, not only does not sound believable, it does not sound sane. Would a sane person ever say that? Would someone who is not a racist ever say, I am the least racist person? It never makes sense to say you are the most or least anything. If you say you're the most generous person in the world, I'm sure I can find someone who is more generous than you are. And if you say you're the least angry person in the world, I'm sure I can find someone who is less angry. But when you're talking about a group of 5 people, which is a little smaller than my class when I was in an elementary school in Boston, you can actually start using words like that. There was a tallest kid in my class. There was a smartest kid in my class, and it wasn't me. It was Michael Traft. We all knew that because it was a small group. There were only 50 of us. There have been only 45 presidents of the United States, and it can be said with absolute certainty that Donald Trump is definitely not the least racist person who has been president, but he is, without a doubt, the least intelligent, the least believable, and obviously the least sane person who has